Antje.
Hallo Isaac.
It's beautiful having the luxury of just being able to notice very fine subtleties of how the attention focuses, what its habits are. And yeah. Where there's an orientation to measuring ourselves or, yeah, focusing in a way that produces duality, all those things, and just, yeah, enjoying that luxury. You're very faint. I don't know. Maybe I can turn my volume. Okay. Say something again.
Now it's gone.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, beautiful, aren't you? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Armin.
Hi, Isaac.
Hi, Armin.
It's so beautiful to simply be with you in a kind of innocence that is doing nothing, but feels tender and beautiful and I don't know if I guess it's not produced. It is simply difficult. Words are always clumsy and not suitable. And it's simply so beautiful to see you and Sangha again and again. And it's always without words, without description that comes later. And they're seeing that the more or less the journey has just begun if you start to feel in this way or be in this way. So many things happen that in a way are new to learn or new to see or let loose. And it's lovely to have your reaction of love that is so supporting. And it's not so important that the connection is always there between you and me. I can talk with you whenever I want if there's a problem or something that is not understood. And I'm very thankful that it is the way it is. And it feels good to see in your face too this well-being, that this friendliness, this supporting. And I'm happy that I've found some friends here. For example, Klaus, we have met in real time, and it was simply beautiful. And it's not, you want the things others have, you're so happy to see the things, and they get not smaller, they become bigger if you just see them, and the happiness, the love, the friendliness, and you can be part of it. That is the beauty. I just want to say thank you. It's indescribable, but loving is recognized. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Ah, Vedanta.
I just wasn't sure if you sit with Armin. I just can say the same, actually. Yeah. When it is seen from here, then just cracking happens or melting happens, and I can just say it feels like touching now or seeing or feeling the love, but was always there all the time. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Ingrid, is it a wave or is you waving
Yeah,
to someone in
no.
there?
No, I'm here.
You're here. Okay. Was it a wave to me or wave to one of the participants?
No. I waved I wanted to connect.
Okay,
Connect
cool.
with you. Yeah.
Beautiful. Hi, Ingrid.
Yeah, sitting with you, I realized that this keeping up being a person, it's such an effort.
Sure.
Phew.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's such a normal thing to do in this world, it looks like.
Yeah. Such a habit, you could say, just
Habits,
like
yeah.
a condition.
A
Yeah,
habit,
conditioning.
Yeah. I had a dream this night, I remember. It was I saw people sitting they were just in boxes and just their head was sticking out and they could only move their heads. It feels like a bit like that, like, yeah, being born and then slowly this kind of box of personality, person, it's, yeah. And then I don't have to break down all these things, but just sitting with you is like, it's just this being, just stepping back, it's one step back. Yeah. And that makes me
always here, just not noticed because of our habits. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I feel this life energy, it flows again. My body becomes warm and wants to play and yeah. Just in an instant.
Yeah. Beautiful description. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you all.
Thank you. Wow. Yeah, beauty. Yeah. Michael.
Good morning.
Hi, Michael.
Good evening. Sorry. I have a question, but it's not really a question. It's more than I had 2 times already an appointment at the court because I'm not wearing a mask, face mask. And in 1.5 weeks, I have another appointment at the court, not wearing a mask. And my nervous system is under pressure 1 week before the appointment is starts. And I can't step out of it. It's
Yeah, I can understand. So just recognizing, okay, something gets activated in the system. There's an activation that kicks in, yeah? And so let's just gently be present with that activation. It comes by itself. It's not something you plan or that you do. It just comes by itself. And so, there's many layers to something like that, an activation like that, like. Just see if we can get a sense of what the different flavors are, just like if you taste a meal and just what are all the spices in there, what is all the different strands in this activation. Not to change it, just to see it, yeah.
Yeah. Just to see it, it's clearly, absolutely clearly for me. Could you explain? Yeah, but my mind or something like this is catching everything what will happen, blah, 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 all these things, yeah.
Yeah.
And I have the right, yeah, I'm not wrong, yeah, I'm doing not wrong things, yeah, I'm not doing wrong things, and but this cord, it's not working anymore, in my opinion, yeah.
Yes, no, I get it. So, it's like in that recognition that common sense is gone out the window, yeah. Because there's many places you can find information that the masks don't, in fact, are unhealthy. But at the same time, there's some other things going on, and so you find yourself in this circumstance. So then the practicalities are, how do you play this game? It's like someone says you have to do something that doesn't make any sense to you, doesn't fit with your knowing, and yet there's a consequence, you could say, for not playing the game.
Oh.
So, or there can be a consequence, maybe something, maybe nothing, we don't know. So then, there's I don't know in Holland what the consequences can be for not following a mandate.
I'm in Hamburg, but it's
In Hamburg, yeah.
it's always the same.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Europe is, Germany is, I don't know.
Yeah. Every country is a little bit different. Over here, a lot of times people had to go to court, but they never followed through. I don't know what they're doing in Germany. So.
Yeah, it's not only it's this thing especially, but it's I have to written a test or something like this. It's always the same, yeah. It's my nervous system is so under pressure 1 week in front of this whatever.
And there's an opportunity, just to watch very carefully, just the different strands that show up. It's like dealing with a system that's corrupt, not fair, not common sense, whatever, and then just finding, the different things that get touched in there. This is not the first time in history this has ever happened. It's certainly not the last. And somehow different expressions, different people, you could say, find different ways of dealing with it. Some people go to a doctor and they get a certificate to say that they can't wear a mask. Some people challenge the courts.
I haven't written a test.
Yeah.
What doctors said, I'm not I don't find the word.
Yeah. Not, so then you take that to the court and you say, listen, this is what the doctors. Yeah. Then you see. So.
Yeah, you are right. I have this paper. It's written on it, but the nervous system is under pressure, and I have this paper, yeah.
So you're on an adventure. You're on an adventure, man.
Yeah.
And just watching, just taking the opportunity. It's okay that your nervous system does that. And it's inviting to see if, in this, just to watch how that pressure functions, just to watch how that plays in consciousness. It's a fantastic opportunity, yeah.
Mm.
Be so gentle in it and just be curious in it, if it's possible.
Yeah.
It's not that it shouldn't happen. It is happening. It's happening by itself. You're not doing it. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean anything. It's just an opportunity to see something that troubles almost every human being and just to be gently present within it. And it's just allow it, just that presence, that gentle presence, just seeing what happens in that, without an agenda for it to be different or to change or for this not to happen. It's a delicate inquiry. It's a beautiful, but a beautiful inquiry.
Mm.
I know that movement in my own system where you could say it's worry or fear or something kicks in, and I don't know how many generations back in my ancestry, that way of functioning has functioned, I could say like that. But I can see that somehow it matters less and less to me if that gets touched. It doesn't go down where it feeds it by resisting it. Just, okay, it's just doing that right now. It's like something. So, yeah.
Right, it helps. It helps me.
Yeah.
What you said.
Yeah, beautiful. I'm happy. Yeah. Good luck with it. With luck you get somebody that sees that you're not just disregarding it, that you're playing the game, and they go, look, sorry for the trouble.
Mm.
I mean, in some ways, that's what I see is like, once there's that recognition of being that your nature is that awareness, that in which everything appears, then there's these endless opportunities of being present to sensations that normally there would be resistance to. Because it's unpleasant when the mind starts to loop and it starts to just take the opportunity, okay. Because it does. Something happens in that inquiry. That's quite beautiful. Like now, you can see it's not activating you when we sit together. So your system is learning in this exchange, and see how that happens, how that works when you're on your own. But you never really go. I mean, welcome to tune in any time to this field and just to know what you know at this moment. Doesn't matter if there's a little bit of unease or whatever, it'll pass, You don't have to fix it, to change it, to stop it.
It really helps.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks for bringing that.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Yeah. Ina.
Hello, Isaac.
Hi, Ina. How's your mom doing?
It's the same as right after the operation.
Hmm.
So it doesn't change,
Yeah.
but she feels good taken care of.
Fantastic.
And she has a lot of pain if they move her a little bit with the left side because that was broken. But I did everything to make it possible for a rehabilitation at home. I looked for more people to take care. I hired things I needed, but it was impossible. And from that moment on, it just flowed out of my system. Gone.
Fantastic, Ina. Yeah, fantastic.
And now I also feel peaceful if she will, maybe something changes, but maybe not. And then she has to go in she can't go home anymore in her life. But I'm in the moment I'm at peace with everything. Whatever happens.
That's everything, you know.
Yeah. And it's so I can also see I had to do and to arrange everything before I could let go.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool. So cool.
And I want to say to Michael, I really feel respect for him and love for his standing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my mother got an energy price driven up. Friday they sent her a letter. She had to pay 800. She has to pay 800 euros each month. And I'm not going to do that. So
Yeah.
I have no idea where it goes to, but so.
Yeah. I think there's lots of people in that circumstance who are not going to. Yeah. They don't have it.
No.
Yeah. But in some ways, you know, if she's not coming out, then yeah.
If she doesn't come out, it's only because my brother is still living in her house till she dies. It's a hired house, a rented house, and then he has to go back somewhere else. But till then, I had yesterday evening he was able to speak also from peace with me.
Oh.
Because he was very angry that I said, I think you have to pay part of the energy because you're living there too. But now he is okay with it.
For it.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, cool.
So I just like to rest now.
No.
I want to share something.
Please.
I can see that my system and gets like triggered when I get a lot of when I get an aggressive reaction from my brother. But I know he is very ill and also very constricted because of his illness. His world is like this and only about him.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time I feel compassion with the process he is going through. But sometimes I feel so triggered when he is angry with me. And I can see that there is still kind of identification that it triggers this part which doesn't feel seen and like valued.
Okay, so just a quick question. You know, what has that got to do with you? That it gets triggered. If it was up to you, it would not happen. That's clear.
Yeah, that's clear.
Yeah. So somehow triggering is happening. And the deep question, what does it mean?
Yeah, you know, I the first thing which comes up is I'm not loving enough.
Okay,
That's,
so
but love
okay,
is
so you
not,
can see it. Yeah, so you can see that the eye that's supposed to be loving can never be loving. It's not the yeah. So it's that's a thought. Yeah.
yeah, that's the thought. Yeah.
Cool. Well, just take the moment and just see.
Yeah, and
That
love is
question.
not,
Yeah. So triggering happens. And you know, maybe there's somebody on the planet that never has triggering happening in them. Maybe. Yeah. So even the idea that triggering should never happen, you know, I mean, wow,
yeah.
not worth it. Yeah. Triggering happens, okay. Usually when triggering happens, I think in most expressions of life that we call people, something wants to get rid of it or change it or fix it or something. And all of those are the activities of identification. But just that question, you know, okay, so those are automatics, they just happen.
Yeah.
But none of it means anything about you, who you are.
So who we are is never growing.
In a way, yes. In a way, no. In a way, the sense that these patterns that have played and that have troubled man, womankind forever, you know, kind of when they're not fed by believing in them, it makes a difference to the whole field. In my view, anyway, at least the way I see things. Who knows, it could change. But none of it's personal. None of it, as far as I can see. It just seems to function the same way in all of us. We're in, funny way to speak it, we're in love with the peace in which triggering happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also also with that my system is triggering another system.
And even
It's
to
also
say it like that, what do you mean by my?
Yeah. Yeah, actually the body system, but it's not me.
Exactly. In this word my, it's funny. It's like claiming ownership of something that it's doing its own thing as far as I can see. It's not, there's no my to it.
It's unbelievable, hearing it so many times. And then still such a relief to hear it again.
But how beautiful, it's like it's just pointing at your own knowing, that's all. And then, oh yeah, of course, yes, I know. Yeah, or there's a knowing of that, so. How often do we look for our keys when we're holding them in our hand or something? Oh, fuck, here they are. Thank you, Ina.
Thank you. And thank you all.
And just for fun, let's go to gallery view for a moment and just see. Did anyone get any value from just that interchange there? So just to see, it's like we're all in the same boat, Judith.
Hi, Isaac.
Hi, Judith.
It's so beautiful to exactly what Ines says. To hear it over and over and over again. Wow. And needed, so needed to hear it over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it just seems like we've had how many generations of conditioning. And then we see and we see and we see and we see. And every time something gets a little bit softer, a little bit less involved in the story.
Yeah. And there I feel, wow. The gentleness that needs, how to speak. But it is so gentle. It's so gentle. And how quickly we have grip or want a different, or it should not be there, or should be more loving, or should not be triggered. Or, wow, and it's stepping back and back and back. And
there's that distinction between that hard noticing that thinks it knows how it should be, and that gentle.
And that really gentle.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, it's touching. It's touching.
Yeah. That something that can make those fine distinctions, that just sees it and recognizes the difference between hard noticing, gentle noticing. That beautiful savoring of this moment, just fine proofing or whatever, savoring. Just, how lucky.
But then it's so fine. It's so gentle. brings tears to my eyes.
Yeah, that just opens up that naked vulnerability and tenderness, you know. It's, I mean, you know, I don't know how it seems to anyone else, but I just, it feels to me like the Sangha, this maturing so sweetly in the fineness of its seeing, you know, it's just, it's beautiful. Thanks, Judith.
And thank you all.
Yeah. Dear Gita.
Hey, Isaac, can you speak,
Hi,
please?
Birgit. Sure.
Yeah.
Did that work? Cool.
Thank you. Yeah, there was what you just said about the Sangha maturing so softly in the words you spoke. And what came up in me, it can only be viewed if you evolve in the same way.
Mm.
So I wanted to thank you for, because
Yeah, you know,
I've noticed it's not a you, but it's
exactly, because it's like there is no separation. Somehow we in this inquiry, life is, you know, is exploring itself in this sangha, in this inquiry.
Yeah.
And something as beautiful is unfolding. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So,
over the last few months is that yeah, there's a refinement. It's really, really beautiful.
yeah, that's how I see it. And
Yeah.
anyone might see it differently, but anyway, so it looks, yeah.
In that regard, I wanted to ask you. You asked Ine, and that question always confuses me a bit. If you say, what does that have to do with you? Then you're not the you you're pointing to is not the
personal sense of you, but the sense, who you really are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
thanks for making that clear.
It's a switch for me. Then every time, oh no, wait, you're addressing the bigger you, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to share that I got all the results now with the Sangha back. So the 1 year result I told you for the breast cancer is fine. And
great.
The jaw is no tumor, but so no bone cancer or whatever, but wear and tear. And the body has its damages over the years. And what I've noticed this last week is what you were talking to about the nervous system. Is I got a really painful treatment from the doctor for ortho manipulation for my foot, because that's the foot with the broken heel bone, and the bones still move. So if he treats it, I can walk better for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and then it needs a new treatment. But it's really painful on the foot. So the body got into this trauma response to the pain because it was too much pain. And then I could tell him that it was enough. So I stopped the treatment. This is as much as the body can handle. And then slowly, I needed a few days to get out of it and to look at the body bodying, so to speak. And it was and a lot of release, just crying, and then letting the crying be the crying, and then it stopped after a minute or 2 minutes, and then came up again, and then it's in that sense, I'm learning this gentleness for myself.
Beautiful.
And then I can plunge into separation all of a sudden again, and be a victim as well. So, yeah.
So here you're talking about the sense of I, not awareness.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a really strong, can be, yeah, how do you say that? Like in Dutch, we have an expression like formerly we had this music, the LPs, where you have a groove where you put the needle in and then the music starts playing. So do you call it a groove in English?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it feels like a really strong pull into that groove, and then the needles keep sticking there, so to speak. So Yeah, and it's in that I would love to sit with you. Yeah, sit. I don't know what to say else. Then the head goes blah, 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 blah. So close and sometimes feel so far away. Thank you, Isaac.
Thank you.
Big hug.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Sylvie. And afterwards, Philippe. But first, Sylvie.
Hi, Isaac.
Hey, Sylvie.
Can you speak again?
Sure. Did that help?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I will ping
Okay.
you. Yeah, I will
Then-
ping you. Okay, yeah.
Okay, that's
Just have to speak again today for a few thousand people. So I really wanted to sit a few moments with you.
yeah. Just gently noticing what comes
Yeah.
up, it's like, it's not happening at this moment, but somehow attention is running forward and trying to prepare itself. But
Yeah.
it's trying to help. I mean, it's a similar mechanism that seems to happen in all of us, the projection of the capacity to project into the future and to try and prepare ourselves now. Yeah. I think we all know it,
Yeah.
yeah. And it always happens differently than we plan or try and prepare for or whatever. So, we're just honoring that it wants to try and help, but just seeing it just doesn't. It just makes discomfort, that's all.
Yeah, the excitement is quietening down. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
The quieter your system gets out of your love affair with this, the more what comes out when you do speak will carry this flavor, this frequency, this invitation. So.
It's funny to see how the attention wants to go there, and then I bring it back.
Yeah,
But
beautiful.
Yeah, I really can see it. And
it's trying to help. It's really trying to help, you know, but
yeah,
you just see that what it does is actually disturb, but just,
yeah.
And it doesn't serve, is another way of saying, because really when it's your turn to speak, I mean, let this intelligence use those lips to speak what needs to be spoken in that moment, rather than have a pre-planned story. And you know what you're in love with, you know what you're there for. So, yeah, it'll speak just beautifully. And let it be fresh, nothing you've said before, if it's possible.
Yeah, I feel
It's
like
you know, this habit to put pressure on ourselves to be perfect and to do it well and all that stuff. I mean, it really doesn't work. It backfires. Yeah? So just you showing there in your humanness, and you're just letting this intelligence speak through you. You know, it knows what to say. Yeah, you can just get out the way. And just whatever, you know, whatever sensations come up, it's just an opportunity. You just, okay, don't have to run with these. They don't mean anything. They just...
Yeah, it feels very quiet and anchored.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy, have a beautiful time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Send me an email and tell me how it went.
Yeah, well, I have to go also, yeah.
Cool.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Ciao. Philippe, where are you? There, I see you now again. Hi, Philippe.
Hi there, Isaac. Hi again. It's been a little while. I promised with data and was traveling.
No
I'm
worries.
really glad to be back.
Yeah.
I'd like to expose something that probably causes me the most amount of suffering. It's a bit tough. It's very tough. And it's basically like, and it's funny, like the evolution throughout this satsang, how the question evolves, like how I want to present it to you, but the more and more we take a step back. But the bottom line is, my body is giving me signs or impulses or activations against the woman that I am incredibly, deeply, passionately in love with. And it creates conflict, and it creates tension, it creates doubt. And it's very, it's also very confusing.
I get it. I get it. I understand.
Because it's, you know, you mentioned the higher intelligence going through. Well, the higher intelligence often speaks through, like through the gut, in a sense.
Yeah.
And also it is the same gut that is at the same time like pulling me towards her, and then at the same time it's also pulling me towards maybe other people, or like repulsions or rejection, things, rejection to.
Yeah. Look, this is a deeply layered exploration. I mean, there's so much to it, actually. You know, it's like, it's just, let's find a thread and just, you know, like, you know, you find a thread sometimes in the sweater and you pull on it, and before you know it, the whole sweater has come undone. But let's just.
Yeah, I really like this sweater. Like, I really.
Yeah,
I really don't want to undo it, but I have a tendency to.
No, but the sweater I'm talking about is the whatever the structure is that's causing difficulty.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, so somehow there's some old habits of, or, you know, old filters that are being looked through that are causing difficulty. But then it gets projected in a way onto the relating, or yeah.
I guess it's like, also because this path with her, with us, it seems very clear that it leads, or it seems very clear. I mean, well, what do I know, right? What do we know? But someone is at the door.
No problem. Take care. Yeah.
But it seems that it leads towards, like, let's say, like, I'm gonna pause for 1 second.
No problem.
Very tiny microsecond.
She's very welcome if you'd like for her to come and be part of this inquiry.
No, she is, and she's actually interested in.
Is what?
She's very interested as well in attending this, and this is something we will do together. But
yeah,
right now it felt very difficult to say what I was about to say.
Yeah, no problem. Presence. Look, you know, I understand that, you know, just to realize, just taking a moment to see for yourself, like whatever's coming up, if it was up to you, would it be coming up?
No, at all.
No, clear. So something's going on that's happening unconsciously. And when it's unconsciously happening, then who's doing it?
it's part of that bodying experience. It's like,
Yeah, part of old information, we could say. So is that old information personal to you, or is it?
but I keep interpreting that old information as a form of.
And who does that? Who would do that? Would you do that consciously? So even that interpreting is not something that you're doing, it's also an automatic. And when it's automatic and unconscious, there's literally no choice. So that habit to be kind of hard on yourself because it's happening, just to see, it's just, that's just part of that whole structure. It's, you know.
Yeah.
There's so many layers, you know, it's like we meet what looks like someone and something in us feels good. And usually there's a wanting to put it on the other person, or what we think is the other person. So we, you know, like we report it as, oh, I love you. But if we look a little deeper, we don't know who the I is and we don't know who the you is. It's just all kind of like a
Yeah. That is one of my qualms a little bit with the concepts of relationships, is I find them very like, it's like you as an individual and me as an individual.
yeah, all that stuff. Yeah. So I mean, you can see there's all that old way of looking at things, of thinking, of, you know, the conditioned ways of viewing. And then it feels like when, you know, like when consciousness looks through those old conditioned pathways or mechanisms or filters, suddenly it feels like there's an I that's suffering. And what you can find is the suffering, but you cannot find the I that is suffering. But the way even that gets looked at is, oh, I'm suffering. The suffering means something about me. So ultimately, you know, we hear and all that there's an interest in is being at peace, you know, is resting as who we already are. But the way our thinking functions, it makes it seem like there's a me that's not at peace, that has to do something to get to peace, or something like that. And those, you know, that's just a functioning of thought, of what we call mind, because for me, there's, you know, no thought, no mind. So we hear somehow there's some thoughts coming and some sensations and interpretations of sensations happening that show up in this sense
In
of
the frame.
what's going on. Yeah.
I think something that, you know, prior to this relationship, I basically lived in the jungle. I was just dedicated to my practice for like 3 months, 3 years. Right?
Mm.
And then suddenly, like sharing this, like it's very difficult to, even with someone as deep and as sort of, let's say, mature or even awake as her, it's very difficult to connect with people through words that doesn't revolve around the I notion.
Yeah, of course. So then, I mean, in a way, that's the beauty of kind of dropping into a flow, a love flow, And then just watching where it gets, like all the mechanisms of, trying to hold on to something, of trying to, all that stuff, it's going to surface for sure. And then all the wounding around, like insecure bonding and all the rest of the stuff that it's going to show up. And that's the beauty of it, but we get into it with this notion, oh, this is fantastic. Now I'm going to sail off into the sunset and we're never going to have any problems. It's like it's a false notion, yeah.
Well, yeah, and the other thing I struggle with these sort of the body impulses, and I guess where the mind comes, because it's not like I mean, there are obviously reactions to that arise, but they sort of seem unwarranted.
Yeah, I mean, they're not, like that's what I mean. It's nothing you're doing. It's just part of this and what this circumstances is revealing to you, to both of you, but in its own way, like so. It's the usual, I could say, the usual way of relating to what's coming up is, how do I fix this? How do I change it? How do I fix myself? What's, and to me, that's actually not so useful, that way of looking at things. There's something coming up, and it's a big opportunity, because I'm sure everybody here has experienced something along this vein, it's not doubt you're the first. And so, yeah, it's an opportunity, basically. Not comfortable, not easy.
And
so
it does pass. It does pass.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. It's like there's a flow, a love flow that opens up, that we're not in control of, but that is enjoyable and beautiful. And then, like, from that, like movements to try and hold on to it or secure it or claim it or arise, you could say. And therein lies a lot of the difficulty, so. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say thank you, because even in our last interaction, which was a month and a half ago or so, I exposed the energetic representation of this problem, along with many other. It was a very messy, it's like the energies in the gut. And obviously it boiled down to wanting things to be different than what they are. And since then, there was a lot of space created, just somehow.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's like, like I say, this is something like this has many layers to it, and it's like it will reveal, given like, to the extent that there's wanting to change it or fix it, it'll just take a lot longer. But that's usually the automatic and unconscious movement that happens around it. It's like, oh man, how do I fix this? How do I change this? How do I get out of it? But, just to notice when it moves in that direction, that there's something wrong with me, or something needs to be fixed, or And it's beautiful that you bring it. I mean, it's like, it's rare that we can bring something and it doesn't get met as like something to be fixed or changed or solved.
Yes, I've noticed also in love, in relationships, that it's so nice if you can do that as well. Like, just in any interaction with anyone, yeah, this is what
Exactly.
is. Even if it's not pleasant, even if it's like,
Yeah.
this is what is happening.
Yeah.
So much healing in that.
Yeah.
However, I guess, yeah, there's still, as you saw at the beginning of the question, there is still this looping and interpreting, wondering why.
Yeah. Yeah. So just recognize that that's happening, and noticing that looping in its own way is trying to help, but then questioning it. Does this looping help? Is it necessary? Is it useful? So rather than going with it, or giving it energy and trying to solve it in the way that only makes it worse, but only every time, slowly you're starting to see, wait a second, this is old. This is like old movements that I don't really need to go down anymore. It doesn't, but it's like that really takes it, just seeing, okay, there's a looping wanting to happen, and questioning, okay, it wants to help, no doubt, but does it? And then without looping, what else starts to become, what else do you start becoming aware of? Because it's that looping is hiding a lot of stuff going on that you just don't have access to see.
Could you repeat that last bit?
Yeah, once the looping starts, then the attention is very caught in that loop. And there's no possibility of starting to get in touch with some of the stuff that's going on underneath that looping. We don't have access. Yeah.
Absolutely. Just
Cool. Let's just go to gallery view for a moment, Philippe.
Sure thing.
And just ask the community again, the Sangha, did anyone get any value out of that exploration? Just to see that, we're never in it alone. We're all, dealing with the same stuff. So, yeah.
That's a nice experiment to do.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Thank you.
What's the time?
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, Lorianne, for hosting. Thank you, beloveds, for showing up.